When you could be more emotionally intelligent about why you feel anxiety, why you feel depression, you're able to overcome that. And so we teach veterans who've never done art and music before how to do it for the first time and tell those stories.
You know, for a long time, I sort of suffered in silence. This series is trying to shine a light on these topics.
There is no stigma to me. It's mine.
When Marine Corps veteran Richard Casper returned home from the front lines of the Iraq War in 2007, art and music were the last things on his mind. The hidden wounds of war had made his life a daily struggle.
Richard, take me back to your own personal struggles. At its worst, how would you categorize what you were dealing with?
I was stuck in my house. I legitimately wouldn't leave. It was my personal faith in God that was the only reason I never killed myself, honestly.
After completing a 14-month post at Camp David, Richard requested that he be sent to the front lines in Iraq. It would be his first and last tour of duty.
I'm there for 4 months only before I was already blown up 4 times, my Humvee, with 4 separate IEDs. And my buddy was shot and killed beside me. He was my gunner, and I was the lead vehicle commander of this little 4-truck unit. And it just took everything out of me.
Richard didn't recognize himself when he came back home. On a whim, he signed up for an art class at a community college. His first painting depicted the grave of his best buddy, Marine gunner Luke Yebsen. During a class critique, Richard's professor asked the students to share their reactions.
He said, "Students, what do you think about Richard's peaks?" And one by one, each one of them was like, "Hey, I think you put red in there because you're angry that he died." I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then the other one says, "I think you put red in there because you saw him die. You saw his blood." And I get teary-eyed now just thinking about it, because I was like, this kid knows nothing about my life. And I used one color, and now I feel connected to him. Like he knows my story, the story I couldn't tell. And I was like, if I could do this with one color, what can I do with all the colors? What can I do with all the symbolism? And so I started on this track of filling up my classes with art programming.
Richard went on to graduate from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago in 2012. Soon after, a chance encounter with country music songwriter Mark Irwin led Richard to find music as a path to healing.
And so I drive down to Nashville, sit in a room with him and a few other guys, and 3 hours later I have a song and a half, and I'm just mind blown. And that's the moment I knew that we could change veterans' lives just by putting them in rooms with artists and songwriters.
Out of that epiphany, Richard founded the nonprofit Creativets in 2013 with a mission to empower veterans through art and music. Since then, they've run visual art workshops and teamed up with the famed Grand Ole Opry for a songwriting program in Nashville. Lloyd Harold Jr., an Iraq War veteran, recently completed one of those sessions with country music artist Justin Moore and songwriter Casey Beathard.
I don't miss that memory at all.
It was the actual collaboration. And I mean, they even took my input, during the actual wording of it. It's like, hey, that sounds better than what I had. Let me write that down.
My wife and then now my son, how they remember things for me.
I suffered a traumatic brain injury, and the biggest factor is not being able to remember daily activities. Did I eat? Did I brush my teeth?
This isn't about teaching veterans to become artists. It's really more about helping vets rethink the way they look at life. Is that right?
That's right, because that's probably the biggest misconception when people first hear about us or apply for the program. They think we're trying to create artists and create songwriters. I'm like, no, it's about the healing process of art and songwriting. When you could be more emotionally intelligent about why you feel anxiety, why you feel depression, you're able to overcome that.
What do you think your friend Luke would think about your newest mission?
Every time a veteran comes through here, I'm like, this is because Luke. I built this organization on Luke's name because I needed to talk about him. And now veterans who are being healed through this, it's all because of him. His death will never be in vain.
Man, I can't thank you enough for all you're doing. I come from a long line of military in my family. I got my grandfather's Green Beret right here. It's close and near and dear to my heart, man. So, Richard, congratulations on these programs. Keep up the great work. And thanks for sharing your story on Mind Matters. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it.